The Jim and Terry Show, coming to you from the Hobbit studio today. It's a little bit overcast, maybe some rain, maybe we're getting some of the California hurricane residuals.
California.
Dreaming on a winter's
I
day.
didn't hit the right notes, so I stopped.
How about all the leaves are brown
All the leaves are brown
and the skies are gray?
and the skies are gray.
Do you spell gray, G-R-A-Y or G-R-E-Y, and does it matter?
I'd say E-Y, and I'm probably wrong.
And I don't care. We've covered all the bases. Let's go on to the next topic.
Jimmy don't know and I don't care.
Jimmy
don't
crack
know
corn and I don't care.
Oh my goodness, our
There we go.
audience, after the wonderful,
Okay.
educated Michael sitting in his chair, now you got Jim
Welcome back, my friend
Yeah.
Jim, occupying the seat that Michael tried to fill for a podcast. And I'm so glad he was able to find the time, wake up early, smell the coffee from the Jim and Terry Show mugs, and join us. Join me, join you virtually with replacing you. He was right there. And he had the same problem with this mic screen sliding down. And
slip sliding away.
oh, there's so many songs in everything we do.
And everything we do.
We are talking this morning about international events, especially planes with one wing that don't seem to fly very well.
Yeah, what? I mean, you thought it was just too easily off. You know, they made amends. He got together with Putin.
He
and
had tea with Putin.
Had tea with Putin, and Putin all along just planned to take him down. Now, there's no proof of that right now, and there probably will never be proof, but that's who's done it, my friends. What's his face? What's his name? Prigozhin and his generals are dead.
Prigozhin's Wagner group
Yeah.
is still alive, as far as we know. Some of them have been dispersed and integrated into the regular Russian
And
army.
I'm sure some have just disappeared.
Oh, Putin is pretty good at making people disappear.
He sure is.
Now, check your underwear, too.
Yeah,
because there's polonium that'll kill you that he put on people's undergarments. I think that was Navalny, if I'm not mistaken.
And the lady that's running for president in the United States right now
Nikki Haley?
Yeah, she was the at the UN,
Yes.
secretary at the UN, and she said he killed off their UN representative.
So when he thinks you're not loyal, boy, who does that sound? He offs you.
Yeah, and that other guy would probably off you too if he could get away with it.
Prigozhin?
The other guy,
Who's the other guy?
the T word.
Oh.
I don't want to lose our audience.
Oh, come on. They know I loathe the most loathsome president ever in American history. I would like to be able to write the book about Trump.
So do you think they're going to have they've recovered all the bodies?
This
now
is
they've
from the
done
plane you're talking about.
Now that this has happened, they've recovered all the bodies. Does this mean it's just going to go away?
You mean there are still bodies? So after falling from 38,000 feet or wherever it was cruising.
Well, they found 8 right away.
Wow.
They had to hunt for the 2.
Well, that to me says that there wasn't an explosion. It was something targeting an engine on a wing then, because only one wing went down. It took one missile.
Yeah, unfortunately, when one wing goes down, the rest of the plane decides to follow.
Have you tried to live life with one arm in a sling?
I have done that.
It's pretty tough.
I've done that so many times.
Okay, you're talking about your athletic past, probably, or your
that and just
your
the way life
mischievous
is.
past.
Yeah. I've had 5 broken collarbones, so same collarbone. So
if we were to do an X-ray, we'd find these little hairline healings.
yeah, they said your next one's an operation. You're just going to get an operation.
Well, then you'll be the bionic Jim.
But I never had to have one. So I had my first break at 2 years old, second break at grade 2, and then it just went from there.
About 7. You kept on breaking.
Yeah. Well,
Good thing you left school.
yeah, I broke it.
I don't think
Just got the cast off one day, and I got in a fight and broke it again.
Gee, Jim.
No, I think it was a play fight. I don't think it was a fight.
You have a real fight with a wrist cast. You know, one of those ones that don't go all the way
The
up
cast
your arm,
was off.
and that's your bionic fist. All right. Okay. So
Well,
how do we
anyways,
get-
we're really
you
off
found, You found the bodies. No, they found
They
the bodies.
found. I didn't find nothing.
Who's they?
I'm not Putin. Don't listen. I didn't find anything.
Who is they?
Well, the people that go after the wrecks and the recovery people. But you can make sure he says, I want the count of all the bodies. I don't know what accent
fingerprint,
that
blood
was.
samples. Make sure he was on that plane.
Make sure he was on
because there is a chance he was not.
that plane. Yeah, he was on it. He's
I
dead.
heard.
He's gone.
I heard that he was spotted 15 minutes after the supposed.
In a cafe with Elvis, right?
Probably.
Yeah.
And it was.
Well, wouldn't that be funny if he would? No, then why wouldn't he have been on it? Then did he sacrifice his own men?
Now, were his men on it too? I mean, all of this stuff can be subject.
Oh, that would be fabulous. But do you think Putin will let us know?
No, he won't let us know, so we're in the dark.
We're going to stay in the dark.
Okay, so anyway, that's the news. Whether it's true or not, people I follow, for instance, Peter Strzok, who was unceremoniously discharged from Trump's administration, was head of Russian investigations, and he seemed to suggest it was real. So did Bill Browder, the fellow whose book I read called Red Notice, who's in Putin's bad book, and Putin's tried to kill him a number of times.
Biden indicated he thought Putin did it.
Biden, speaking from political wisdom over a career of 35 years.
Well, look at 9 prior to this bunch, which takes it up to 19 now, by the way.
So the question, how do you tell which way Russia's internal politics are going? You follow the trail of dead Russians.
I was just thinking, the plane, he fell out the window into a pool
He was
and drowned.
pushed.
He fell out a window into the pool and drowned.
Right, except they put the whole
How
plane
many fell
in.
out windows?
I don't know. Were the windows still intact? There's a question.
Well, there's a, yeah, but
Okay.
he gets rid of you.
He gets rid of you.
Yeah.
So one thug to another. Does it really matter which thug is in charge?
Well,
Are they not all bad people?
yeah, I think so, personally.
Well, wasn't Prigozhin responsible for torturing civilians?
Oh, yeah, he's not a good guy. He's now gone. Now it's his days here are done. Unless, as you say, miraculously he shows up in the south of Spain or south of France,
So
like where Trump wants to go.
How do we verify all these things? I guess the United States and the Five Eyes or NATO, somebody's looking at missile flashes from the surface, because if nothing escapes the satellite imagery.
Well, yeah, and it's either it was on board the bomb, and maybe that's why 2 of them were not found. Maybe part of the side of the plane went with that wing, pulled out 2 people. I don't know, but it would have been for the rest of them, if they hadn't died with the concussion of the bomb or be knocked out, that would have been a horrible fall to death.
They would probably have gone unconscious long before they hit because of decompression, would they not?
Maybe. Let's hope. I don't want misery on anybody.
No, here's that's the thing. As a humanitarian, we don't want anyone to suffer, not even
him.
Gee, so you're wearing your Jesus sandals, I hear in that comment. Not even him.
Yeah.
It's sort of, but for one.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's leave him aside and talk about the trending scheme coming from, and we'll get to the the GOP talking session on Fox TV with Brett Baer. We'll talk about that later, but out of that came the voices of some people who want to negotiate with Russia.
All right. The young, and that's anybody under 50, I know they just don't understand the history of that country and all that they do. So you almost got to cut them some slack. They're never going to know, because they don't go on any media that's ever going to remind them of it. But this current plane coming down is no coincidence. That's who you're dealing with, and that's how they'll deal with the world, and that's how they'll deal with Ukraine. So it's just the way it is.
Vivek Ramaswamy, I think that's how you pronounce his name, is the one who's particularly talking about needing to negotiate and sell off some of Ukraine's territory in order to get peace.
Well, what did they say to Elon Musk about that? Up yours or something? Or why don't you F off or something like that to Elon Musk when he was suggesting maybe they give some of the land for peace? Imagine if Canada said, okay, we'll give you Southern Ontario, United States, don't hurt us. That wouldn't go well, and it would never sit well for 1,000 years.
Right.
So I don't know how they could side with Russia.
Yeah, it's just
in
to
any
say
of
that
it.
there is a voice, or there are voices in America that are sympathetic to Russia, who really want Russia to win this war in Ukraine. I'm not sure that killing Prigozhin is the way to win it. It's the way to preserve power in the short term. But how can you support a thug? Putin. If he kills his own right-hand man, Prigozhin was known as, because he was in the catering business, and that's how he rose to prominence, was in food services. He became known as Putin's chef. Yeah. And I always wondered that. I thought, what is he cooking up, this Putin chef? Mischief? Is he into... Well, he was mentioned in Mueller's report. There was a warrant out for his arrest by the FBI. And that was one of the tweets that I read, said, I guess we can spend that money somewhere else.
Well, I know the argument. They're going to say, well, everybody in power is evil. So what difference does it make?
Yeah, those blanket statements don't really work.
Yeah.
It's like saying everybody sins, so we stop trying.
Yeah.
No, that's not the way it works. Okay, so we're dealing with Putin, we're dealing with a thug, and some people still have difficulty and who want to negotiate. You don't negotiate.
No, because he's not going to be settling for that. Putin, number one, wants the glory of the Soviet Union back. So he ain't going to stop at Ukraine. Yeah, he wants the glory of the Soviet Union. And what do you think about, I guess this will be a space program coming up, about India landing on the moon and Russia's crashed on the moon?
Wow, that does not look good.
It don't look good at all, but you got it. Good for you, India, man. You know,
Yes.
there they are there. So what, 1.2 billion people rejoicing?
Good for everybody who's stretching their knowledge, their base, and reaching to the stars.
Unless you're in a private jet and Putin don't like you.
With one engine.
With one engine and one wing.
All right, Jim and Terry Show signing off on all things Russia today. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.